Patriotic comrades, by the end of this video, you will know how the Integrity Commission just dropped a political bomb on the JLP and how this could reshape Jamaica's power map forever. Stay with me. Patriotic comrades, meet Rohan Hall, a JLP councillor in Red Hills, Kingston and St. Andrew. He's supposed to represent the people, but now the Integrity Commission says he failed to file his statutory declarations for December 2019. No excuse, no payment, no remorse. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Here's where it gets spicy. The Integrity Commission says he ignored their orders. The Director of Corruption Prosecution says he must be charged under Section 43(1)(a). Meanwhile, over in the PNP side, Keisha Lewis is also under fire. And guess what? IC is recommending charges there too. The question is this a fair fight or a political hit job dressed in legalese? I'll show you exclusive documents later, ones that reveal exactly who benefits if the JLP falls. And trust me, it's not who you expect. Patriotic comrades, first, let's understand the Integrity Commission. Their job is to enforce transparency. They require public officials to file statutory declarations, financial statements, assets, liabilities. Miss a filing, that's a breach under Section 43(1)(a) of the Integrity Commission Act. But here's where the tension lies. In a highly polarized Jamaica, who enforces those rules becomes a battlefield. The JLP has long accused the IC of targeting them more harshly. The PNP argues that transparency must cut across party lines. And now the IC is wielding that power like a sword. The Rohan Hall case, timeline and drama. Let's pull up the timeline. December 2019, Hall fails to file his statutory declaration. September 12, 2023, IC serves him a notice to discharge liability, gives 21 days to pay a fixed penalty of $250,000 and submit the missing declaration. He does neither. What? Government badness. JLP large and in charge, evening councillor, a rank with the Integrity Commission. IC's Info and Complaints Division confirms no valid excuse. Need one excuse the JLP councillor no give to the Integrity Commission. Oh boy. Director of Corruption Prosecution rules he must face charges under Section 43(1)(a). Now, to be clear, this is more than paperwork. The political cost is steep. One misstep and Hall's credibility, and by extension the JLP's, is torn to shreds. It's not like missing one paperwork deadline. This is skipping the rent, defaulting the mortgage, and expecting applause for punctuality. But hold up, there's more. Documents we'll see in a bit suggest there may have been private communications between Hall and IC insiders. Stay tuned. I'll show you what's hiding in the shadows. The JLP can't be more torn to shreds and pieces than what Wholeness and Tufton do to the party image with all of these corruption scandals, allegations and accusations of corruption, pan top of corruption, pan top of corruption. Wholeness did it under investigation for illicit enrichment. This a councillor in just a add to the damage what them already do. Look at the attitude of the people them where ball say the IC is unfairly targeting them. This is their attitude towards the Integrity Commission on full display. The JLP councillor now complying, now cooperate. He's being very disrespectful towards the Integrity Commission. Then give him 21 days to file and to pay, make the payment of 250,000. He does neither. You see me? And a them a ball said they're being unfairly targeted. Make it make sense. A them a cry wolf and a act like them a victim. But we know them are not a victim. We know them a wolf in a sheep clothing. The PNP side, Keisha Lewis and others, patriotic comrades know for balance or political cover, depending on your view. Keisha Lewis, PNP councillor from Lauriston, is also recommended for charges according to the Integrity Commission. Missed filings in 2019, 2020, and 2022. Served notice September 14, 2023. She did submit financials later, October 4th, 2023, but failed to pay penalties, which amounted to the grand total of $750,000. That is $250,000 each for 2019, 2020, and 2022. You see me? IC referred her to Director of Corruption Prosecution under Section 43(1)(a). But unlike Hall, Lewis has responded. She claimed she believed it was enough to file within the time IC gave her, and says she never received further notice about the penalty. Now she's scrambling to address the matter. So here's the key contrast between Keisha Lewis of the PNP and Rohan Hall of the JLP. Hall, no defense, no response. Lewis, defensive, reactive, claiming miscommunication. So is IC's move impartial, or is selective enforcement going on? Well, me not really see no selective enforcement go on, because the Director of Corruption Prosecution recommend say both Hall and Lewis, which are JLP and PNP councillors respectively, say both of them get charged. So you see me? That is very balanced and impartial. This is where the real drama begins. JLP councillors have publicly cried foul, accusing the Integrity Commission of being weaponized by PNP operatives. They claim due process violated, bias rampant, selective targeting. Some are saying if the IC can bite one JLP councillor, nobody in the JLP is safe. On the flip side, PNP aligned voices argue, good, hold the powerful to account. The IC is finally doing its job. Let me pose you this. Is the IC a neutral referee or a political front runner in disguise? Imagine expecting the ref in a football match to also coach one of the teams. That's what some JLP supporters say is happening now. JLP PR and propaganda that. We now listen to nothing what JLP say. JLP too corrupt. JLP too thief. Yes, that is the JLP PR and propaganda machine I run out with bare lies as usual. Pure distraction, pure smoke and mirrors. Distracting the people from the real issue that the JLP is riddled with corruption from floor to ceiling. In a moment, I'll reveal internal memos suggesting which JLP councillor the IC is targeting next. And it may even be your local rep. Yes, your local representative. Well, the JLP I go always try pull the PR stunt to discredit the Integrity Commission by saying the IC is being weaponized by PNP operatives to deflect from the fact that the JLP is riddled with rampant corruption. So every time the JLP attack the Integrity Commission with the narrative that the IC is operated or being weaponized by the PNP or PNP operatives, it's all BS. It's just to deflect and distract from the fact that the IC is actually doing a good job of exposing Andrew Holness, Christopher Tufton, and everybody where they're over the Jamaica Labour Party. You see me? Yes. And even the little JLP councillor them now the manners and respect to said Integrity Commission, because we can see how Hall deal with the Integrity Commission. You know, respond to them, you know, chat to them is like, you know, do whatever you want to do. Me not comply. You see me? Me not cooperate. That is the attitude of people over the JLP. So no, we don't buy the argument where JLP are come with. You see me, this PR propaganda, as I always tell you, no, that's all I'm good for. I try paint the Integrity Commission as being biased or one-sided. Nothing no go so. It's just because the Integrity Commission is doing too much of a good job of exposing the illicit enrichment investigation of Andrew Holness. You see me, Tufton awarding contracts to his alleged girlfriend in Oman, allegedly $80 million worth of contracts to market me under the health ministry. Now Tufton, we see Tufton come out and do be a PR and act like him as the head of the health ministry, him clueless to everything what go on. And I try fling his subordinates where they in his ministry under the bus. And I try take one himself and I try washing hand clean of the situation. But Tufton, you are the head. Everything rise and fall with leadership. So if you never know say that a go on, you need to be fired immediately. You know, see the media a push back and a pressure Tufton. But as Marky G do or say something, or anybody from over the PNP do or say something, oh my God, the world a come to an end. The whole Jamaica come down to Marky G and the PNP for the slightest of things. All when the PNP right in the sight of the media and Jamaica, they're wrong. Because I don't see nobody a pressure Tufton. You know, ask him right questions. Tufton for resign. You not call for Tufton resignation. Why you not call for Tufton resignation? Those are the things we need to know. Because you ready to run out and apply beer pressure upon the PNP every chance you get. We see Tufton run out with beer PR. Listen to everything what Tufton say. A beer PR man run out with. And I say, oh, my hands are clean. Not never did if it tie me to no direct involvement. Brother, are you at the head of the thing? Every procurement contract supposed to come on your desk first. So you tell me say your signature not affixed to nothing? You not look on no contract will come in and out of your health ministry? Like seriously? You're not doing a good job with Tufton. We know you are the worst health minister with Jamaica ever see. We absolutely sure about that. But if you add a gross incompetence to the fact that you're not even run your ministry good, that you don't know nothing what go on, $80 million worth of contract go to market me, and you act like you're clueless about that, and she is your running partner, your running buddy, and you and her run together. Friendship from 2011. We soon in a pitch up on plane. I see ask you if you and her in our romantic relationship based on allegations. I'll know you not answer directly, and with all of that, the media refuse, mainstream media refuse to call for Tufton resignation. Power plays and agenda. Who benefits? Patriotic comrades, let's get strategic. Politics is a game of moves and misdirection. Let me walk you through possible motives. If the JLP weakens in Kingston and St. Andrew, or local councils, PNP gains negotiating leverage, which is good for us over the comrade side. The IC's power becomes centralized. They gain legitimacy and fear among JLP officials. Information control, leaks, possibly blackmail. A warning shot. Anyone not squeaky clean is vulnerable. I ran a simulation in my head. Don't ask me how. The next move might be to publicly pressure a JLP mayor or parish councillor. Name dropping, partial leaks, viral posts leading to show trials. No, isn't that interesting? The IC doesn't have to hit everyone at once, just those in key posts, like from the Prime Minister to the Health Minister, down to even the little ground soldiers like the councillors over the JLP. For sure, you say from floor to ceiling, a pure corruption over the JLP. Watch who's next on the chopping block. Now, patriotic comrade, make we go in a expert political analysis mode, legal and ethical analysis. Okay, in law, the Integrity Commission has statutory authority to charge under Section 43. The rules are clear. File your declaration, pay your fines. If you fail, you face charges. But the key legal question: was Hall given due process? Was there fair notice? Was the penalty properly communicated? Did she, Lewis, have a legitimate misunderstanding, or was it willful default? Ethically, we must ask: is enforcement being selective? Is one side being dragged through the mud more than the other? Here's what I concluded. The IC may have technical grounds, but politics is messy. The asymmetry in response, Hall silent, Lewis reacting, suggests the narrative is already being shaped. What it means for Jamaican politics. Patriotic comrades, here's the big picture. This isn't just about two councillors. It's about control, credibility, and momentum. If the IC succeeds in convicting or destabilizing JLP officials, the PNP can push harder on anti-corruption talk, gain moral high ground, sway undecided voters. But if the JLP fights back, leaks, counterattacks, legal suits, we could see a constitutional standoff. Municipal councils could resist. Political tension will surge, and we may live in a state of permanent scandal. Let me drop a spoiler. The IC might already be working on something bigger, parliamentary level charges. And if that happens, Jamaica's political drama enters a whole new league. Here's what I found in exclusive memos. One memo suggests a confidential meeting between a senior IC officer and a JLP internal affairs source. Another reveals a priority list of JLP and PNP representative to be reviewed, but JLP had more names. A third leaked message: timing after local elections. So what's going on behind the scenes? It looks like the IC is playing chess, not checkers, and JLP is running in check. What if the next person charged is not a councillor, but a minister? And what if IC holds the evidence already? In 2 weeks, we may see the biggest shock in Jamaican politics this decade. So where do we go from here? Key takeaways. 1. The IC has legal authority, but enforcement may be uneven. Hall's silence versus Lewis's defense show asymmetric strategies. 3. The real fight is control, narrative, power, exposure. 4. the next move could be bigger, ministerial, parliamentary level. If you're watching this, don't blink. Political drama in Jamaica is no longer background noise. It's front page material. Here's a summary of the highlights and the key points. Quick recap. Rohan Hall, JLP, is recommended for charges under Section 43(1)A for failing to file statutory declarations December 2019 and not paying penalty. Keisha Lewis, PNP, also recommended for charges. Failed 3 periods, late filings, unpaid penalties. Conflict. JLP accuses IC of selective targeting, weaponizing enforcement. PNP argues due process must apply. Power plays. IC may use revelations to weaken JLP in strategic constituencies. Leak memos suggest IC prioritize more JLP names. Held secret meetings, timing aligned with upcoming elections. Next person under IC's radar could be a minister or parliamentarian. So patriotic comrades, the JLP them most consistent talking point is that the Integrity Commission is selectively targeting only JLP officials and not anyone from over the PNP side. As we can clearly see, that is utter nonsense and utter rubbish. We have so far 2 PNP councillors. One of them get direct charge in a court, which is Roger, and then we have Keisha Lewis, who was recommended to be criminally charged or recommended for charges. And if these PNP councillors are found guilty, well, they should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, because we have Marky G as the integrity boss. So these PNP councillors are the things what them not see Marky G a do. Marky G is certified year after year. Every member of parliament in the PNP is certified year after year. So how comes these councillors are not being certified? That means they now follow the example was set by Marky G. All these PNP councillors are do. These 2 PNP councillors I do is drag the party name through the mud and I embarrass the party and I bring shame on the party because they are directly connected to and affiliated to the People's National Party. So it still don't look good enough, even though a 2 little councillor, it don't look good because we need to separate ourselves from the JLP. If JLP in a thief and corruption, we the PNP need to be the opposite of that. We need to present to Jamaica a squeaky clean image and be the difference. You see me? The contrasting difference, the night and day difference. I wonder if you don't understand what I say. So we cannot tolerate no former corruption or uncertified statutory declaration in the People's National Party. Make them keep that over the JLP. I want Marky G, I want integrity boss. So let me just rubbish that selective targeting by the Integrity Commission on everybody in the JLP. It's all nonsense, rubbish, it's all BS. That's just the JLP PR propaganda machine at work. It cannot be selective targeting when you are under pressure and you are under the microscope from the Integrity Commission because they might do their job. Everything and every evidence where they brought against Tufton, everything where they exposed in the Ministry of Health was accurate. I'll know Tufton no come out and say, oh, not never go so. Tufton say, well, we have to go tighten up on how we give out government contracts and, tighten up on the procurement process. Tufton even agrees say yes, there were breaches of how the contracts were awarded. Tufton admit to that. So it's not no selective targeting. Now I could go over to Wholeness. Wholeness has not been certified maybe 5-6 years now because he can't show proof of income. He can't show how he getting wealth. That is not selective targeting. That is the IC doing their job. Now I could look on the case of Rohan Hall, where they in this article here where the IC recommends him to get charged. Look, from 2019, this youth has failed to file his statutory declarations. 2019, him no file no statutory declaration from 2019. It's not selective targeting. Everybody in the government knows say every year you're supposed to file a statutory declaration. It's mandatory every year. Zine? And then fast forward September 12, 2023, IC serve Rohan Hall a notice to discharge the liability. Give him 21 days for pay $250,000, which is the penalty, and submit the missing declaration. And he no do none of them. So show me how that is selective targeting. I would go as even further to say that he's actually being difficult. He's going above and beyond to be very difficult with the Integrity Commission. And he's just a councillor. Imagine if he was a member of parliament or a senator. God forbid if Rohan Hall ever becomes the prime minister. Imagine how he would act then. You see, this is all because of the bad precedent that was set by Prime Minister Andrew Holness with his said attitude and behavior towards the Integrity Commission. Because remember, say, Holness take them to court, Holness sue the Integrity Commission in the court of law. So he set a bad precedent for even councillor them follow. Even councillor them feel like so they can disrespect the Integrity Commission and disregard the Integrity Commission because of the bad example that was set by the party leader and Prime Minister of Jamaica, Andrew Holness. So patriotic comrades, JLP Councillor Rohan Hall, he now comply, he now cooperate with the IC. So how is that selective targeting? Don't fall for the JLP propaganda machine. Be a lie, the JLP tell. So on that basis, this is where the Director of Corruption Prosecution recommends and rules on the matter and say Rohan Hall must face charges under section 43(1)(a). How is that selective targeting? Make it make sense. The math is not mathing. You see, we not do dunce reasoning over here, so because from day one, the JLP love talk about the IC is a PNP controlled entity and they are run down controlled by PNP operatives. BS. One load of crap the labor right them attack. Them just a deflect and a distract from the fact that they are guilty and they are being investigated for exactly the same thing where the IC investigate them for. Patriotic comrades, we have a second PNP councillor. Well, I should say former PNP councillor Roger Curlew to face court for failing to file statutory declarations. So him, I'll go in at the court following a ruling by the Director of Corruption Prosecution at the Integrity Commission that he be charged for breaching the Integrity Commission Act. So the ruling accompanied an investigative report tabled in the House of Representatives on Tuesday, which concluded that Curlew, councillor for the Mount Industry Division in the St. Catherine Municipal Corporation, failed to file statutory declarations for 3 periods, 2019, 2020, and 2022. He is to be charged for breaches of Section 43(1)(a) of the Integrity Commission Act. So, patriotic comrades, yeah, this is a former PNP councillor. Here's what I want you to do. Hit like if you believe all politicians, JLP or PNP, should be held to the same integrity standard. Subscribe and click the bell because next week I'll be releasing a follow-up. Which minister I see will expose first? Drop a comment. Which JLP official do you think is next and why? If the IC drops that bombshell, you want to be here when it hits.